Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 2024 goals video, and we're also going to be talking about all the books I read in 2023. I read a total of 15 books this year, and I didn't start reading until like May. This whole year has been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been a lot going on, and the latter half of my year was a little bit more quiet, although still crazy, just not as crazy as the first half. So I started reading in May, and these are all the books until November that I've read. I'm not going to be including any of the books that I read. Actually, I'm not including the books I read in November, because I did a wrap up of those books. So if you want to see what books I read in November, you can check out that video. I also will not be including any of the books I have read in December, because I'm still, as this is Friday before the new year, I'm still finishing some books that I hope to have finished before the 1st, and I've got like 3 days. So we'll talk about those books in my next video. So today we're gonna talk about all the books I read before November. So let's get started. The first one I read, or the first one I'm gonna talk about, is As the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall. I really enjoyed this book. This was a mystery whodunit type book, but it centered the social issue of missing Black girls, particularly in the Midwest. This took place in Chicago, and I liked it. I think it's an issue that is actually really pressing, like missing Black girls, missing children, missing women and children, and it's really a problem that doesn't get enough attention, and this is what that book highlights. Parable of the Sower. I've probably talked about this from the moment I made my first video, how much I love this book. This is a reread. I read Parable of the Sower for the first time in 2020. Y'all, like I said, that was a time to pick up this book, and I wasn't in a place to comprehend or fully digest what I was being given, because there was so much going on that I was like, oh my God, like I'm reading what we're experiencing. This is too much. So I didn't comprehend everything the way I wanted to. This second time around, I read the book with a group of Black women writers in a writing group, a virtual writing group, and it was amazing. And we got to pick the book apart, and we got to write alongside Octavia Butler and in response to some of the characters. And I really enjoyed it. I really got to grasp it in a different way than I have ever been able to, or had been able to the first time. So love that book. I will vow to everyone, you have to read it. You have to read it. Even if you're not into sci-fi, you should really read this for sure. Next one I read was The Perfect Ruin by Shanora Williams. I have physical copies of these books. I'm just not realizing that. Here we go. We've got, you might see some of the ones I've already mentioned, but this is The Perfect Ruin. I love this book, y'all. This is an unreliable narrator, unreliable main character. We're getting the story through her version of it, and she is pissed. She is upset because in some way, somehow, this wealthy, infamous woman has ruined her life at some point in her childhood, and she is seeking revenge, and she will stop at nothing to get this revenge. She essentially becomes her best friend and pushes everyone else in her life away from her just so she can get close enough to this woman to ruin her life. The ending is so good. I ate this up. I ate this up like no other. I really enjoyed. If you're looking for something that's like a quick, just fast-paced, really great character arc development kind of situation, a little bit of POV in there, you would really like this. This is really solid, and it got me out of a reading slump. The next one we're going to talk about is Rosewater by Liv Little. Now, this is a great book for those of us navigating our 20s. Our main character is in her late 20s. I cannot remember her name, but our main character is in her late 20s, and she is grappling with some feelings that she has for her best friend, that she is her roommate. I think that they did have a relationship at one point, but she struggles with her family acknowledging her and appreciating her, and they don't seem to understand why she does the things she does. She's a DJ. She's having issues with holding down a job. She's not sure about how to go about her craft and to make it lucrative. And she loses her apartment. It's just a lot of like what the 20s can feel like. And so the thing about this book is that I almost didn't finish it. I almost put it down, and I am somebody who really believes in DNFing. If you don't feel like you vibe with a book, drop it. I didn't drop this book because, one, it is a debut. I have a thing about debuts and letting writers write and letting myself just enjoy or learn about their writing style, or learn about the direction that they intended to go in, even if it's not something that I feel like is strong. What I had a struggle with this debut is that it was so slow and boring. I was like, oh my God, when is this going to end? Like, please, like, I can't do this anymore. And nothing crazy happened. It wasn't really like a book that felt like a lot was happening. It just was like, this girl is living in her 20s. This is real life. And I appreciate it for that fact. And I also think the cover, it looks like me at one point. I've grown out my hair, and I gravitated to this cover. It was a library book. So I gravitated to this in the library because the back of her head looks like the back of my head when I used to shave it. And that was it. That was the only reason I picked it up. The next book I read was You Exist Too Much by Zanai Arafat. We're gonna go with that. Yes. This starts with a 12-year-old Palestinian girl. So if you're looking to expand your Palestinian reading, your Palestinian consciousness, free Palestine, ceasefire, always and forever. This is a great one to add to your list. Essentially, we follow her from moving from the Middle East to America, where she, has a roommate, and or her roommate is her girlfriend, and their relationship is going well. It's comfortable. It's, they're having a good time, but our main character is struggling with a lot of trauma that she's experienced in her childhood, a lot of insecurity and doubt, and she essentially sabotages her own relationship. And then she seeks treatment for love addiction. And most of the book chronicles her experience in the treatment facility, and that's mostly where we end up being for most of the book. And it's just kind of like going through how she relates to the other characters in this facility, how she discovers herself again, and how she grapples with the things that she has not been able to actually sit down and deal with. So I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a different perspective for me, and I felt like it was different. It felt different. It felt like something else. Like, this is a coming of age and reconciling with cultural, sexual, religious differences and insecurity and uncertainty, which are themes that we see a lot. But I think that the way the writing went and the way the character went about her treatment and handled herself, it was very unique and very interesting to read. So I definitely recommend this one for sure. Definitely. Okay, so the next book that I have is called Post Traumatic by Chantal Johnson. We follow a Black Latinx girl who, her name is Vivian, and she is not a likable character. So if you like books where like a character is like says things that you're like, oh, that bothers me, like, why did you say that? Like, girl, no. Like, this is that kind of book. But it is, I won't say justified, but in relationship to what the character has gone through and the things and the insecurities she has, And it's clear that it's coming from a place of insecurity, that she often compares herself and her body to that of other women. She judges other women for the things they wear, for the things they eat. And it has a lot to do with her own insecurity and her own struggle to free herself from the trauma she has experienced. She is also a lawyer for a psych ward in New York. So she represents people who are for next steps in their mental health journey. And on the outside, she's very poised, and she's very put together. She's very on it. But on the inside, when she goes home or when she's with her friend, she's very all over the place, scatterbrained. She's very paranoid and anxious about just kind of existing in the world, like taking the subway, taking public transport, walking through the streets. She's always nervous that something bad is going to happen to her. And it's crazy because in a lot of ways, I feel like I related to this character. As far as like the insecurities she's dealt with, it was like kind of scary and kind of like, for me, I'm like, wow, I clocked that. I clocked that some of these things are ugly and some of these things are very unlikable and unredeemable. But these are part of what makes us human, and it's about what we do with these things that matters the most. What she does to reconcile with these emotions and these bouts of insecurity and anxiety. So I really enjoyed this. I kind of want to read it again, but then again, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can, because some of the things that she says just made my heart just boil. But go into this if you read it knowing that that may happen and that you might DNF it. But know that I think the writer does a good job with backing up all that insecurity and talk with something real. So that's post-traumatic. The next one I'm gonna talk about is Dirt Creek by Hayley Scrivener. I don't remember how I found this book. I think I just stumbled along a bookshop and was looking for something mysterious and lighthearted. This was not lighthearted, but you know, fast-paced and light in reading, in a sense, and the language was light. It's about a 12-year-old girl who has gone missing in this really small town where everybody knows everybody. And it's kind of like, what the hell happened? Because everyone knows this girl. This girl takes the same path home every day, and all of a sudden she's gone. And so it's a whole story about who done it, where is she, what happened, and then we have the reveal. I really enjoyed this. From what I remember, I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember enough to know that I thought the mystery and the build-up in the characters was solid. Was it my favorite book? Absolutely not. But it was a book that I felt like if you're in a slump, if you're stuck, if you like mystery and small town mystery, this is great for you. This is a great read to pick up if you just need something to kind of get you going again and get you excited about reading. But I really thought this was a cool random pick for sure. And the last one I want to talk about is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. Johnson Mandel, the same author who wrote Station 11. I love this book. I love her writing. I love her prose. I love her language. I love how the novels that she writes expand across hundreds and hundreds of years. We will essentially always, the theme that I see come up is music, a lot of music and poetry. And that is what connects the characters through time. There will be like some sort of time capsule piece that it is connected to another character that finds this music or this song 100 years later, and how that kind of shapes their life, and then how that is connected to the first person who found it, and then this like 6 degrees of separation through generations and time kind of thing, and this futuristic kind of thing, but this also this present kind of thing. She is really great at being able to write across times effortlessly and connect characters in a way that's so easy to read. She doesn't make it too complicated or too difficult to follow. It's very simple to follow, and you feel like you don't feel like your hand is being held through it, but you do feel supported by the writer, and you feel like you could eat this story up and gobble it up. So I really enjoyed this. If you haven't read her other work, Station 11, I think there's another popular work by her that I can't remember the name of that came out last year. I don't know, but I want to get to that one too. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read before the month of November. Again, I didn't read a lot. I didn't get to a lot of books because the year was really stressful, and I tend to pull away from reading when I'm stressed. So hopefully that can be a goal of mine this year, is to kind of lean into the words and lean into what my childhood self loved the most, which was reading. So let's switch over to the other side of this video, our 2024 goals for the year of 2024. I want to read 24 books. I was able to read 15 books, and that was with me starting in the latter half of the year. So I imagine that if I develop a practice, and right now my life doesn't feel too out of control, and hopefully things are on the right track and continue to be, I can read 24, if not more. So the goal is 24. And yeah, I feel like that's totally doable. The next goal is to read at least 3 memoirs, which won't be super hard because I already have a couple of memoirs I definitely know I want to read. And so that will already knock out at least 2 memoirs. And yeah, I struggled with reading nonfiction, and I struggled with finding nonfiction that I felt like wasn't saturated, I guess, wasn't overdone. Try audiobooks. Would I surprise you if I said I have never listened to an audiobook? No, that's a lie. I tried to listen to Gabrielle Union's audiobook. I really liked her, and I didn't finish it because I struggled with comprehension and listening to someone else speak. I think she did her own audiobook. She did the voice for it, and I really liked it. I really like her voice. I really liked her story. There was a lot of things in it that I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that this, you know, I learned a lot about her. But I'm a physical book girl. Like, I only read physical books, and I don't even mess with Kindle. Like, I don't even do that. I need to hold the book, see the book. And because of that, I probably read less than I would like to, but I'm okay with that. If I can read at least, or listen to at least 3 audiobooks without losing my mind. So maybe I'll make a video on that, and maybe you can offer some suggestions on where to start with my audiobook reading journey. Yeah, so I want to also utilize my library more, and at least check out 8 books. Of the 24, having those of the 24 be 8 library books. I love my library, and I don't use it enough, so I need to do that. So that is definitely a good goal for me to have. Save some money, okay? I would love to do one 12-hour reading vlog. I was going to say a 24-hour reading vlog, but there's no way in heck, Hades, hell on earth, I could do that right now. I don't think so. I want to also make my goals something attainable, but also far enough to reach that it's not super easy, but not super like random, because I just started this journey, so I want to do stuff that I feel like I could enjoy and still find doable. So 12 hours is doable for me, so we can do that. I would like to do one writing vlog. I haven't sat down to write in a couple months now, and other things often take precedent over writing, and I want to get back to writing. So we can do a writing vlog kind of thing, a write with me type situation, and I can kind of, yeah, just write. Okay, yes, I want to read more Black classics and have at least 5 Black classics read this year. That's going to be a lot easier than anything, because yeah, I already gravitate towards stuff like that, so it's only going to be enhanced, like it's only going to be something that I enjoy anyway. I want to read a lot more Toni Morrison, James Baldwin. I think I have Go Tell It on the Mountain on here somewhere, and I haven't read it, so I want to read that. And honestly, I just want to expand my understanding of Black history through literature. So that's what I'm after when I say that I want to read more Black classics. Post on Bookstagram at least twice a month. If you don't follow me on Bookstagram, you should. I'll put my handle somewhere. I pretty much just share reviews, share more detailed reviews of books and what I'm reading, and yeah, sometimes I'll share video game stuff. Like one time I shared the video games that I was playing on my Switch. So if you have a Switch and you like playing cozy games, I'm your girl. I've got some suggestions for you. And yeah, so I would like to post more consistently, or continue to be consistent on Bookstagram. I also like to read books by South African authors or books based in South Africa. I am going to South Africa for almost 2 weeks in February, so I have a fun video idea about just reading more books from South African authors and or South African books that are based in South Africa. So I have a couple of ideas for what books that I would like to read, and I would like to read them and share them with you, and maybe hopefully take you on a little bit of my journey in South Africa. We'll see how that goes, but I'm excited about that trip, so I thought it would be nice to have books with me that reflect where I am. Okay, so I would like to post on YouTube at least once a week. I was gonna say twice a week, but twice a week is working right now for a couple of reasons. One, it's the holiday season. I am working a lot less than I have been in the past year, so this has been a quiet couple months for me, but also not really, because when there's less going on with work, like with work that is like, you know, when you're paid hourly, that kind of work, I do other work. I commit myself to different projects behind the scenes that I'm passionate about, that I want to eventually share over time. You know what I mean? So even when I'm not working for the man, I'm working for myself. So with the new job and new schedule and potentially different things coming into play, once a week is probably going to be more doable, but I'm going to do twice a week as long as I can, just as long as I'm posting consistently. I just want to be consistent, because anything that I enjoy doing is worth my time, period. Utilize YouTube Shorts. I don't really know how to do that, and how to make them fun and pretty and exciting, and what type of content a short should encompass. So, but I do want to do more research and understanding them and how to make them, and just share more YouTube Shorts, just to kind of diversify my way of communicating with all of you and sharing things, because sometimes there are things I want to share that aren't enough for a video. So a YouTube Short would probably be the best way. So that would be nice. That is it. That is all my books that I've read up into the month of November, and those are all of my reading goals for the new year. I'd love to hear what your goals are. Are you reading 100 books, 50 books? Are you reading more audiobooks, more library books? Let me know in the comments what your goals are, and if you've read any of the books that I've read this year, and which ones you enjoyed or which ones you think you might pick up in the future. Either way, y'all, have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you in the next video.